Something big is coming for small businesses in the UK and it's going to be hidden in the autumn budget. Rachel Reeves, the new Chancellor, is planning what's being called a £2 billion tax rate on small businesses. How? By lowering the VAT threshold, dragging thousands of companies, freelancers and small shops into the VAT system for the first time. Think about it. 250,000 small businesses suddenly have to act as unpaid tax collectors for the government. It's going to change the game for a lot of directors. And I know what a lot of you are already thinking. I can barely stay afloat as it is. Now they want me to file quarterly VAT returns, deal with more admin and put my prices up. This is going to kill my business. And you're right. For many, this just isn't about tax, it's about survival. So in the video, I'm going to break down what Reeves is potentially planning in the autumn budget, why lowering the VAT threshold raises so much money, and the hidden dangers for directors if you get pulled in. Now, there's going to be some real life examples of what this looks like in practice and 3 practical steps you must take if this hits you. And by the end, you're going to know exactly what this VAT raid means for you and how to prepare before it's too late. So, right now, the VAT threshold is 90 grand turnover. If your sales are below 90 grand, you don't need to register. That means no VAT returns, no extra admin, and no risk of VAT penalties. Now, it is expected that Rachel Reeves is going to cut that threshold to 75 grand or even lower. And that means around 250,000 more small businesses, shops, tradesmen, freelancers, they're going to suddenly have to register, file and pay VAT. And the Treasury estimates it could raise £2 billion every year in extra tax. Now, on paper, the government says it's about fairness and it's bringing the UK in line with other countries. But the reality, it's a stealth tax. The government wins big and directors like you are left to carry the burden. Now, when you register for VAT, suddenly 20% of your sales is no longer yours. You're actually you're charging it, you're collecting it in for the HMRC. And if you don't set it aside, it feels like free cash until the bill arrives. And when it does, I've seen directors face VAT demands from 20 grand all the way up to 2 million. And it's demands that they can't pay. And that's when HMR steps in. They're very, very aggressive trying to collect the VAT. And if you don't act, they could end up winding your business up, or they could come in and they could take the assets from your business with the Control of Goods Act. It's all very scary stuff. Now, if you think about this as well, this is something that's not being spoken about. It's your customers who are going to pay the price. If your customers are other VAT registered businesses, okay, they can claim it back. It's not a huge issue. You charge VAT, you put your VAT return in, you get it off your VAT bill. But if your customers are consumers, or they are really small businesses, this is going to be brutal, because you either put your prices up 20% or you swallow the VAT yourself and slash your margins. How many businesses can suffer a 20% margin slash? And both routes kill competitiveness. And here's another thing, like quarterly VAT returns, making tax digital, penalties for late filings. If you're already drowning in admin, you're a small business and you're out there doing the do and you're out there pricing, you've got to deal with staff's wages, you're drowning in admin, and this is a whole new layer of complexity. And remember, HMRC is one of the most aggressive creditors. They don't wait around if you fall behind. Now, you might make the decision, well, I'll get my accountant to do it. But if you're a small business and your profit margins are already being slashed, that's going to be an extra cost going out at the end of the month. Now, why is the government doing it? Well, the UK, I think it's a fact, it's one of the highest VAT thresholds in the world. Reeves is arguing that lowering it makes it more like the rest of Europe and it brings in some much needed cash. Now, on paper, that sounds logical, but the timing couldn't be worse. Obviously, everything's more expensive. Staff wages are, rents are, interest rates are, cost of borrowing money is. You know, and add to the fact, sales are slowing down for a lot of people. There's also a very strange incentive problem. Right now, some businesses deliberately keep turnover just under the VAT threshold. Lowering it doesn't fix that. It just drags small businesses into the trap earlier and it discourages growth. And this is who's going to lose the most, in my opinion. The ones hit hardest are the very businesses politicians claim to support. Sole traders, small shops, micro businesses, the high street hairdresser, the small construction firm, the local cafe. They're the ones who are going to face a choice: hike prices up, cut profit, or actually risk insolvency. I mean, let's put it into real terms. You're a builder, You're turning over 80 grand a year. Today, no VAT. If this goes through, tomorrow you're going to be forced to register. You've now either got to add 20% to your quotes that could price you out of jobs, or you've got to swallow it, cutting your income by 20%. If it's a small cafe doing 76 grand a year, suddenly every £3 coffee has 20% VAT. They can't compete with a chain down the road who has scale and systems. If you're an online freelancer, you're doing 78 grand a year. They've never really needed an accountant before. Now they're paying hundreds every quarter just to stay compliant. Now listen, there are 3 steps I think you must take. So what should you do if you're near the threshold? Step 1, I want you to forecast your turnover now. Look 12 months ahead. If you're close to 75 grand, assume you could be dragged in. Don't wait for this to be announced. Step 2, I want you to set up a separate VAT account. And if you do, like Starling's dead easy, you just have a little space there. And then if this comes in, okay, and you get £1,000 in plus VAT, you put that 200 quid into a separate account so you've got the money. And I want you to also get some advice, because VAT is quite complex. Input VAT, output VAT, partial exemptions. It's not DIY. You really need a decent accountant or a decent bookkeeper. And if you get a good one, it will pay for themselves in the long run. So what's happening? Rachel Reeves is potentially lowering the VAT threshold. Around 250,000 more small businesses will be dragged into VAT. The Treasury will get £2 billion a year. Small businesses are going to get higher admin. They're going to have worse cash flow and they're going to have tougher competition. And the message is clear. If you don't prepare, you'll pay the price. If you're a UK director worried about VAT, HMRC, cash flow, don't bury your head in the sand. Continue to watch the videos that we put out there. Subscribe to the channel. Thanks for your time. Chris Worden, Director First.